This is the billionth time I've tried to make this video. The gods of metal are angry because we're demoing two solid state Marshalls today versus their two, instead of their two brothers, big brothers. On the real, and this is just my opinion, the major difference between a solid state Marshall and the tube Marshalls are really the tone you're getting in the power section as they get loud. The preamps of every Marshalls are meant to sound about the same. The solid state Marshalls are meant to imitate the plexis in your JCM 800s. That is really the tone that people chase after. So today, AVT 50 versus feature modified Marshall MG15. It's called feature modified because it has a 10-inch Jensen speaker, an effects loop, a channel switcher, or a switch controller, and what's that other one? The 412 output. But for today's demo, to keep it simple, I don't feel like looking at cab in here. We're gonna come, both amps are hooked up to the 10-inch Jensen speaker. Okay, so clean on the Valvestate. This is AVT 50 versus MG15. The gain on the clean channel to get a bigger sound. That is our Valvestate. Now we switch over to the MG. Okay, I'm just going to not edit this because I've tried, and you need to see just the amp. I don't care. Okay, now we are on the clean channel of the MG. Everything on 12 o'clock, like the Valvestate. That's the clean channel dimed, essentially, to get into crunch. I didn't have to do that on the Valvestate because it had an extra gain control. Okay, so overdrive sounds, Valvestate. And here we go. Okay, and everything is on 12 o'clock. on these overdrive sounds. So now we've got the overdrive dialed in kind of as a crunch as well. Okay, that's the Valvestate drive. Let's do the MG's drive, and then we will go from there. Sorry for the lack of editing, and you have to see the switching. I've made this video literally 1,000 times, and it is what it is. Okay, MG drive channel, crunch tone. All crunch. Okay, now let's turn the EQ up and really get it heavy. These amps, in my opinion, sound pretty killer for what they are, and for the price you pay for them. You're not getting a bad sound. They're very warm sounding for solid states. Okay. Essentially, do they sound really that different? My ear, barely. I think the Valvestate is a much warmer sounding amplifier, and your MG is a little crunchier. But other than that, they're not that different. The difference is there's probably some higher quality components in your Valvestate, and they have that 12AX7 at the end of the signal to warm up the sound. Other than that, they're not terribly different. If you can't afford a tube and you still want like a solid, you still want a Marshall-y type sound, I think a Valvestate's a good way to go. Just go with a high-powered one though, if you want to be really cutting through your mixes. That's my only recommendation. Go with a high-powered one. These are great studio amps right here. But yeah, I like these both. The tones are killer. I've always been a Marshall guy. I've always loved Plexis 800s. I've been able to get MGs and Valvestates to sound kind of in the realm of tone alike. You know, it's all about tone starts in the fingers. You know, if it's the way you hit the guitar. Because every setup I always play out of, I always have my sound. Whether I'm playing out of a 6505, which I've played out of before, whether I'm playing out of a Valve King, whether I was playing out of my Line 6 rack setup that I just recently sold, whether I'm playing out of an orange CR120, which is what I'm using with the band now. My tone is always going to be my tone, and your tone is always going to be your tone, no matter what you're plugged into. Yes, the amps are still there, they have their sound, but I can always get my amps that I'm playing out of to have my tone, because it starts right here in your fingers. Anyways, thank you.